how are you and the family? I mean, are all you guys happy and healthy and
Yeah,
great?
yeah, yeah. We what I've done is before we did confinement in France, I closed the office like 3, 4 days before because I felt it was coming. I also felt we had some people uneasy to they were seeing what was happening in Italy, and we have a few Italians at Frasers. So already, probably a month ago now, I asked the Italians to work from home.
Yeah,
Also for their own sake, to travel in the train, and they were not very easy with the idea. So say, well, you stay home, and then 3, 4 days later, I closed the office in Monaco, the two offices in Monaco, and then the confinement was required by the government like 3, 4 days later. So we were prepared with teleworking. Uh, Everyone is, and I do it regularly in Monaco. We have a system with teleworking. So some of our team members they work 1 day per week at home already,
that's a good system.
which we feel is a good thing. You avoid commuting, the stress. It allows you maybe to pick up your kid at school. So we were ready to do this. And so when I came home, basically, I did a couple of days on my own in the office with a couple of people, to really do the fine tuning, and then I moved home, and since then I haven't been out just to the local supermarket. So that's going to be weird when it's going to be time to travel and
I
go out
know.
to the world again.
This is the longest period I haven't been on an aeroplane for 5 or 6 years, so it's strange.
And and also the kids, so I help a little bit for the homework, and my wife is a dance teacher, fitness instructor, so I help her to do the online classes. So it also brings family closer together.
Yeah, that's true.
And we always run and rush, so at least we have time on weekends. There's nowhere to go,
Yeah,
so
but for you guys, for
it's
Fraser,
bad for good.
yeah. But you were generally pretty well set up for home
Yeah.
working, so everyone's networked and
Everything.
video conferencing. It's par
Oh
for the
yeah.
course.
And the same, actually, I did the same path in the States in our US offices before they went, even though they haven't, yeah, now they're restricted for only essential businesses. So a week before they went to essential businesses, I asked everyone to go and work from home.
Yeah,
So there again, we were ready. So we had no rush, no stress. Everyone was already at home when they asked to close the offices, so that was fine. And I don't know, you probably find the same thing. This confinement. One of the positive thing out of the confinement is like all the team members are communicating much more than they ever did before.
that's true.
you know, they're on Zoom call, team call, Skype call, and you're trying to find a space in your agenda. You're like, call, 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 call. So, and this applies to all my division.
Yeah,
And this is, I think, one positive thing. I write a memo to the company last week, and I said, look, I think if there's one thing which is positive in that all COVID-19 is communication got so much better within the company. Um, and it's so yeah, no, no. The idea that to work together also with our client, even with the yachts, the shipyards, because some shipyards are still working, and we have a few deliveries. Which was supposed to happen now, so they're going to be slightly delayed, but everything's on track.
but
So this is the beauty of technology these days.
yeah. And does that flow over into how you're relating with owners now as well? I mean, are they getting on Zoom calls with brokers and charter brokers and etc.? Are they adapting as well? The clientele.
There's a lot of communication, but of course, as always, WhatsApp, obviously,
Yeah, yeah,
which is something which is being used widely. But a lot of people are a lot on the phone or through conference call with their clients. Sure,
yeah. And so,
definitely.
so general day to day office life hasn't necessarily been terribly disrupted by this, but how about the business itself? I mean, you mentioned the deliveries that obviously, circumstances mean they will be delayed. And I've spoken to a few other people about charters and brokerage, and obviously we're going to see a drop off. We hope not precipitous, but we'll see. And so, just from the Fraser point of view, because you obviously see everything, how are you looking at the market now?
Well, if I start with charter, I
Sure.
mean you have charter management and charter retail. So unfortunately, the beginning of the year was extremely strong. So we had a lot of bookings in the books and in the pipeline. So clearly, more the countries were closing, more the requests to either cancel or postpone came. We still had a few requests for some charters during the summer. I think for the last 2-3 weeks, most of our team members have been busy really canceling or postponing. So we've been trying to put together. I mean, we applied the MIBA addendum, which I think is pretty well drafted, and as often as we could implement it, we've added to the contracts. So it has worked for some, and for some others, they obviously wanting to cancel.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find the best solution for both when we are charter manager, the owners, and obviously the clients when we are in the retail. So there is some challenges, clearly. I have to say, a large majority are understanding maybe on the owner side of the charter. But yes, sometimes you unfortunately have to go to some litigation. But this is not the generality, and we're really trying to postpone, if not for 2020, 2021. And everyone is, or most of the individuals are flexible.
Yeah.
We also are putting together some new measures. So this is for charter retail. I think there has been a rush, obviously, in trying to rebook, cancel, or postpone to either this year or next year. For charter management, we have had obviously the same work to be done. But we also opened we discussed with our entire fleet, and we allow to come up into a program whereby we will cancel any charter book all the way till the end of May for no reason. So we said, okay, we promote your boat, and we will be able to cancel whatever booking till the end of May for whatever reason. So we have had a good response from the owners of the yacht. About, I'd say, over 40% of our fleet agreed to come under this scheme, almost 50%.
Okay.
And that clearly shows also a sign that a lot of owners are still willing to keep their crew on board. They're still willing to and hope for a charter season. In regards to retail and new requests, we have some still. I won't tell you that many of them, obviously. I'll be lying to you, but we still have some now. Of course, it's been postponed. We'll say August, September, and also for the Caribbeans.
So at the moment, so you are kind of taking bookings for later in the season still.
Oh yeah, we don't have hundreds of requests.
Yeah.
So we do have requests. I was talking with one of our charter retail brokers last week, and I think she has 4 inquiries she's working on, which obviously are for the later part of the season. And we see more and more requests for the Caribbeans.
Yeah.
So that requests custom based. Also, we're going through the process. I think whilst in Europe, we kind of now have the idea that we're in the middle of COVID-19 and it's been terrible, and but the idea kind of sank in. So we're kind of looking at, okay, well, we're going to come out now. So we're looking forward to coming out. Whilst I think the US now is going into the idea, oh my God, what's happening to us? So we probably will have them having their head coming out of it in 2 to 3 weeks. And the same applies, of course, our office in Asia. They are busy because they were there 3 weeks to 1 month ago. So we have some transactions. People want to buy yachts or even asking for charter. So this is very, very interesting. How it's like interesting. I don't know if it's the right word, but it's like the curve of the virus itself. You go with 2 weeks delay per country, and it applies exactly the same in our business. So that's something which we see in the booking. Obviously, the increase of bookings for the Caribbean is mainly from the US customer base, because clearly they don't necessarily fancy the idea of traveling to Europe for this summer.
Yeah.
So business ongoing, it's not huge.
We'll just talk about just the ongoing business. Is there anywhere actually active now? Are there any charter markets active as we speak right now? If you wanted to charter in Thailand or something, or obviously getting there is an issue, but if you're local, could you? Similarly, say Australia or New Zealand, or is it just at the moment it's just a complete lock on the whole market?
Today, so what's happening? We do receive some requests, and clearly every day is a different day because you're gonna get the news that one port's going to close or one is closed. Some has some special restrictions, some others not. I have to say that most of the ports they are closed or highly restricted. So it's very complicated to say, okay, look, you want to book in August, for sure 100% this port will be open. So, when customers come to us with an idea, this is also where we're going to guide them. And unfortunately, we don't ourselves have the crystal ball, so we cannot say, yes, look, come to Italy in August, I'll be open. Because we don't know. We think it will, but we cannot clearly confirm this. This is the reason why we encourage to have the various addendums, and we are making this agreement with both the yacht owners and the clients to make sure, gentlemen and ladies, probably it will be open, but who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? And the thing is, we get requests, and now it's our work to make sure we can actually make this request going through. But at this stage, God knows what will happen in August or even in September. So we are working on plans. We are working on ideas, and we're always trying to do this, protecting both the yacht owners and the clients. So there's some flexibility on both sides.
So if you're booking now for say Greece in September or something like that, and then the lockdown continues and you're not able to go to the charter or enjoy the charter, so what happens then? So Fraser will honour your booking for next season, or you'll just postpone it 6 months, or you'll transfer it to another boat. So how would that work practically?
Well, ideally, what we will do if we had a charter booked for, let's say, August, as you said, or September in Greece, then the idea will be to have a contract which protects both parties, providing they both are in agreement. So if we were to see that by the end of mid of July, or then the lockdown remains and therefore there's no chance of the charter, then that would be a cancellation or a postponement.
Yeah.
But from day one, we will have an agreement when doing the booking with the clients and the yacht owner or the CA of that yacht. And I think this is the wise thing to do going forward. And some are ready to do so.
Yeah.
Some yacht owners and some clients. Some obviously are not. They are going to wait, and they won't go into any agreement until they know for sure and this party is open for business. But we have some clients. Again, this is not the biggest number of them, but we do have some clients who are very keen to explore possibilities in August or September.
Yeah. Well, it feels like there's a lot of pent up charter energy being generated. Obviously, there's a lot of people who want to get on a boat this summer but can't. So you think when we come out of this, we're going to spring out of it, hopefully, and there's going to be an awful lot of bookings for the Caribbean season. Let's see. I mean, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, this is what we all look for. But look at yourself and myself. What is the first thing we want to do when we are allowed to go outside? Is to go outside and have fun and enjoy ourselves and do something we haven't been able to be doing for some time. So unless we go through a terrible financial crisis, which I think is far too early to say we will, I think everyone would just want to go on the boat and enjoy their boat, or enjoy your boat, or for matter of fact, go to a restaurant. It's open. And I think this is something I'm hoping for. And clearly, talking to some yacht owners, one of the first things they tell us is, look, as soon as I can, I go to my yacht. And I want to enjoy my own yacht because I miss it.
Yeah.
So I do think that we will have, and also, every situation, every country has a different type of confinement today. But if you consider Europe and in some instance the US today, also some families are separated today. They just cannot be together because they are not allowed to see each other because of the risk of the virus spread. So that's also another opportunity. As we know, yachting is one ideal place today to be with your family and be each other together. And I do think that there again, there would be an opportunity for many of them to be together and enjoy. So I'm optimistic nature, so that's what I hope is going to happen.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I hope so. On the brokerage side, I mean, we know obviously the US is the engine of the brokerage market. They buy half of all the brokerage stocks. So the sooner they're out of this, the better for our industry. It's a shame, yeah, the way it's working at the minute. They seem to be just going into the real nasty period of this. But how was brokerage at the start of the year, or how was it looking? Were you looking at it being a good year compared to the last couple? And how do you think? What's your kind of forecast over the next 6 months to a year?
That's a difficult one. I mean, the last 2 to 3 years have been just very, very good. I think I can speak for it. Have been excellent years, and the beginning of the year was very strong. We had we had a few offers and several deals which were supposed to close prior the crisis of the COVID-19. Some are still alive. They're just being postponed because obviously it's very hard to travel today and to just conduct a survey. So I would say, well, the first 2-3 months were encouraging, and obviously we had many opportunities and did a few closing. To tell you what the next 6 months going to look like it's rather challenging. I mean, I read and I listen that because of the crisis, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money, and they're going to obviously put their boat on the market because it's hard to run. There's a lot of fixed cost. Possibly, I don't think this would be a generality. It all depends how long this squeeze is going to last.
Yeah.
Crisis is going to last. And of course, a lot of clients may have had a weakened position with the stock market being stumbling, but the stock market, as we all know, will go up again. However, a lot of owners also have businesses which are suffering, and these are really suffering, meaning shops are closed, factories are closed. So if it lasts for too long, we probably will see an increase of both being put on the market. As it stands today, we have a few, but we don't have many. As a matter of fact, many of our owners whom yacht is under our management are not talking about laying up their crew. They're not talking about laying up their boat, besides really a few. So I don't see yet a mad rush for I'm going to sell my yacht, or I'm going to lay up my yacht, and I'm going to lay up my crew. It's not yet a generality. Again, let's see how long it lasts. But at this point of time, I don't see a big fall of the beauty market. That being said, we have to see how the economic starts again. We have to see whether or not we are going to see an issue with the oil prices. The stock market is going to rebound fast enough. And if this is indeed the case, as I anticipate it will be, then we may have a few yachts being on the market at probably interesting prices, but I don't see it being a generality.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. What are is there any good news out there? I mean, what can we look to? Is there anything promising in the market? I mean, it's hard to discern when you look across the piece right now if there's any good news or any bright spots. It doesn't seem to be, but you obviously have a different perspective on things. I was wondering if you could point to
one of the main good news is obviously you still receive requests.
Yeah.
For charter. You still have some buyers out there, and not only buyers who are looking for a deal, because of course you have deals as well. In these times, of course, some buyers are looking for potential deals to be made, and for sure there will be deals to be made. But we see some new buyers to the market, inquiring about new yachts, about new projects. So I think this is not all dark and gloom. And I think if we put our head in the hole and wait for it to pass, this is wrong, because we need to be out there. And of course, this is a very, very difficult period. I mean, and we are in yachting. We are people fighting for their lives, and we are people helping people not to die. So this is real stuff. I mean, yachting is of course very important for all of us. It's our business. But I do think honestly that yachting is strong. People have been coming to yachting more and more and more the last few years, especially in charter. I mean, a lot of the companies today have had a tremendous beginning of 2020. So that means that a lot of people who are coming back or new to the charter market, which, as we all know, it's very often the entry for new buyers. So these were positive signs. So now we have to see how long this is going to last, how badly the economy is going to be affected. But as I said, I'm an optimistic, and the storm will pass. And I think it's important for all the companies to take the right measures. So we're still out there, and we are helping the clients to find the right yacht for them, or build the right yacht for them, and find the right yacht to enjoy their vacation and their family. So I think this is obviously the situation today is not extremely positive, but to find some positive, you can always find some positive.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, I mean, it is an opportunity. Our lives are basically paused on hold. Obviously, work goes on. Everyone's very busy still. Teams meetings, endless Teams meetings. But there is an opportunity to dwell a bit more. If you are in the market for a boat, or you're thinking about being in the market for a boat, you can sit down. If you read a magazine, look at a website, go through some specs, download some brochures, look at some charter boats, that kind of thing. So there's that opportunity for people out there as well.
I was about to say, I mean, you probably see the same thing with Boat International, but on our social media and website, we see an increase of traffic, which is tremendous. Of course, it doesn't mean they're all buyers or charterers, obviously, but we send some specific, of course, email campaigns and e-brochures to our existing portfolio, and the rate of opening and going through is extremely high. So it's not like people turn their back on yachting, and they're still looking into yachting, and they still are interested in yachting. So as I said, it's also an opportunity to be visible there and make sure you don't disappear off the radar for another 2 months.
Yeah, and it gives us all an opportunity to be a bit more creative in our marketing and how we reach people and how we communicate the dream of yachting, all that kind of stuff. So it's a good creative exercise as well.
Creative, and it's a new approach, I think, because obviously you just cannot go out there and sell a charter or sell a yacht like you used to do 3 months ago. I mean, obviously the world is going through such a tremendous crisis, and you just cannot be visible as no.
Yeah.
I think there's a way to get our message across, and I think we need to respect what's happening today in the world. I think it's extremely important, and there's ways to show and to show what vacation is all about, to show what yachting is all about, maybe in a different manner. And I think this is something which we all ought to do. I mean, we cannot go around and say, come and party on the yacht. And I think we need to adapt the message. And I think that's what many people have. Can provide information and give ideas without going over the top, obviously.
Well, I think you touched on it earlier. There's been a bit of a... the marketing message of yachting used to be, it seemed to me, party, 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 and, girls in bikinis and that kind of thing, which I don't necessarily think was the right approach. Now, it's very much family oriented, and and I speak to so many owners who tell me that this is the one opportunity they have to get all their family together in a relatively confined space at the same time, and they enjoy that period on board together. That's hard to do in very busy modern lives. Everyone's all over the place, very little time, all that kind of stuff. So that message is really powerful, I think, and so the more we can get that across.
And since I joined Fraser a few years ago, I think one of the messages I try to get across is also the fact that yachting is not only a guy and a lady on a bikini sipping champagne. It's much more than this. It's shipyards. It's a lot of other sectors of activity which are extremely important, and I believe that. To display yachting, there are many other ways than just the glamour and the easy things. So I think this period, for example, is a good time for all of us to rework our marketing mannerism and maybe come up with something new which might not be seen too glamorous or party as you mentioned earlier. And going back to one of the positive things which also is pretty much in line with what yachting is trying to do more and more, like the whole world is trying to do. The fact that the world is being put on hold for about 2 months probably when this is over. I think this has been very good for Earth. I mean, when you see all the carbon emissions, all the water quality, air quality, I mean, look at this. I mean, this has been quite amazing. I mean, it won't last, unfortunately, because we have to go back to what reality is all about. But I think if there's one other positive sign, it's that actually it's possible to spare a bit of our planet Earth health, if I may say.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I know Fraser obviously is very active in that space, beach cleanups and things like that, and plastics. And so, congratulations for all your efforts to make the world a greener place.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, everybody's trying, and everybody is really willing. I hardly know anyone who is not. And we're doing what we can with what we have. But I think if we do, all of us, a little something, at the end of the day, it turns out in a big something. And I think that's important to, if some will still have our eyes closed on now the damages we're doing to the planet, and I think this is an eye opener, and we can really facilitate the process somehow going forward. But I think we've seen the last few years, and you guys have been doing lots of good stuff on promoting this. Then shipyards are doing a lot of efforts, designers, even brokerage houses. I mean, as an example, yes, we ban plastic within beaches and we train crew, but there's a lots of other things which we can do and we are doing. So I think we need to keep up on doing this thing going forward, all of us together.
Yeah, totally agree. I totally agree. Raphael, that's been brilliant. Thank you very much. Go enjoy that garden in the sunshine.
I will now, and actually it's beautiful here. How is it in England?
It's stunning day. It's going to be a great week. Yeah, 20 degrees, which is almost summer temperatures here. It's unbelievable.
It's a real challenge for all of us, right?
Yeah.
Stay home, don't go outside, and it's beautiful outside.
Yeah. My Wi-Fi is not great in the garden, unfortunately. That's the only problem.
How do you take care, Stuart? It was nice to discuss with you, huh?
Always good. Always a pleasure, Raphael. Thank you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Take care.